All right, so I wanted to go over the actions tab and the positions tab. If you don't have a position, this is going to say no position. So it's going to be really nothing. I'm in a position here, so you can see my action button here. This is kind of like the unified do something button, usually buy, sell, or more preferably schedule. Again, I've only been using this for 4 weeks as well. So this is early, but so far schedules have done better than me trying to decide. And kind of makes sense, right? If I don't believe in 40x trading because I don't believe I can predict price in the short term, and I've seen it over and over again. I've been liquidated by hand years back. That sent me to become an automated trader. I actually locked in and had to learn how to code 6 months. But it's hard. I see everybody still using 40x leverage, and that makes sense. I was there too. So if I can't trade by hand, then why would buying and selling using these buttons do much better? Well, there's actually a couple of rules built in that are fairly nice. So, for example, I've built in rules where if we're in the middle of a range, it's not going to let you enter. So you can go override it, do whatever you want to do. I'm just building in things that are working for me. But if we're in the middle of a range, let's see if it lets me enter now. I think I'm in a short. Okay. So let's see if it lets me enter. Maybe this will be a good example. I'll put it on, I would pick the 10th tick, 15th tick. But when I click add to short, I put 0.1%. And I think this is very interesting part of the actions tab. If you have nothing selected here, it's just going to say add to short, or it's going to say buy. I'm in a position, so it's adding. But I think this is alpha as well. I can't tell you how to trade, but I do know from my past experience, I'm usually wrong. So starting with small positions, 0.1%, and that's of my total account. 0.5% maybe. Since I'm usually wrong, again, starting small and kind of forcing yourself to scale in. For me, that's done really well. It's helped a lot. Now, the ticks, this is the margin part. So 0.1%, you can put it in dollars or you just a percentage, but you can see this is how much margin. And then it's multiplied by the leverage that we're using. I wouldn't suggest ever to use 40x leverage, but everybody's doing that. So I have mine at 40x. But it shows you the total position size versus how much you have to put in. That's your margin times 40x. Then you got ticks here. Ticks, this is interesting because if you're trading by hand, you're going to end up using market orders more often. Hopefully you don't use market orders that often, but you do more often than a bot would. A bot that says never use market orders will never use market orders. Quant app does not allow for market orders. And why is that so great? Because if you use market orders, you can blow up your entire account in just
keep moving. We must keep going. If you can't fly, run. If you can't run, walk. If you can't walk, crawl. But by all means, keep moving.
It's so important to not use market orders because you're paying 3x. It's like paying $3,000 instead of $1,000 for something. Go to moondev.com/fees. You can see if this guy would have used limit orders or a bot, he could have saved almost $200,000. If this guy would have used a bot like this, he could have saved $116,000. If this guy would have used an entry, an app, a bot, whatever, he would have saved so much money because he would have used limit orders. And there's actually another page here that you can check out. Check out the calculators here, because what I was saying is some traders are not that bad at trading and they still lose money. Because look, if you have a $25,000 account size here and your leverage is 40x, if you trade 5 times per day, you only have 31 days until you lose just from fees. And that's not talking losing trades. But here's the comparison. So that's 31 days. If you have 25,000 account size, you use 40x leverage, 5 trades a day, just from fees, you'll lose your entire account in 31 days. That's wild. But if you used a bot or an app, something that only did limit orders and slowed down, didn't take as many trades, you can extend your life to 717 days. So just right there, we're not even talking about trading, the intuition behind trading. You know, everybody, when I said automate your trading, they said there's intuition behind trading. Okay, I'll accept that. I'll accept that, and let's try it with the 40x leverage thing. But I'm not going to trade the same way I traded in the past, which was predicting price. No, I'm going to trade around liquidations. Why? Because somebody smarter than me just bet their life savings on something. I'm not good at predicting price, so let me take their bet after they lose it. Now you're kind of becoming the house, right? Because now you're taking people's bets instead of being the one going up to the casino, being like, oh, I want to bet, you know, Jacksonville is going to win tonight. Yeah, I want to bet that. No, get on the other side and take the bets. Okay. Well, sorry, sir. You bet your life savings that it was going to go up. I would love to be long too, but I'm not getting long until you lose all your money. I don't know if that makes sense, and it may take some time, and I can't give financial advice or tell you how to trade, but this is just, I'm building this around my ideas. So Quant app, you know, if you use this, you're taking all risk. Things might be broken. Please keep your exchange open, be able to override everything. Yeah, you take full responsibility of using this, but just say trading on a different tick will save you so much money. Extend your life from 31 days to 717 days. Go ahead and explore this calculator, moondev.com/calculators. I think it's very important to understand this concept. Anyways, any trader that is using the Quant app automatically is saving 66% every time they enter and every time they exit. That's insane. But the activity tab has all of your different options here. I can say, hey, when somebody gets liquidated on their licks, let me add. Okay, so if I'm in a short, I'm going to wait for a short of 2 million in liquidations in the last 10 minutes. Now, this correlates to this here up top. And I showed you how to use this in a previous video, the liquidations. You can see in the last 10 minutes, there hasn't been any long liquidations, but I'm looking for short liquidations. 10 minutes, 1 hour. This is straight from the Hyperliquid node, and you can't get it faster anywhere else. This is like 10 seconds ahead of the fastest thing that I found, which is wild to me. But that's what happens when you get direct access. So that API key that you have, moondev.com/docs. Go ahead and play around with that as well. You can see I can enter on long liquidations if I want. I'm in a position though, so I can't tell you which way is good for you or how to trade this because I can't give you strategies. I can't give you financial advice. Just giving you this app that I built for my trading. And it's not a plug and play by any means. You can see there are so many points of intuition. I can literally stare at these liquidations and make a case for long and short at any second of the day. But that's why trading works, is because every second there's somebody that says, oh, it's going down, and somebody else is saying it's going up. So there's no plug and play bots or anything, apps or anything. You know, I've preached this for 5 years. Like, I'll show you guys how to automate your trading, sure. But there's nothing plug and play. You're not going to just join a boot camp or a course and just make $1 million overnight. You look around, you got 100,000 people coming in and out throughout the year. If I told 100,000 people there's $1 million in this certain GPS coordinate, how long would that $1 million be there? So you do take full responsibility, all risk here, as this is your trading. Just kind of putting bumpers around it. You can see here, open at licks as well. So I can open at a specific liquidation. So I could say, hey, I want to open when a buy on long licks. I want to buy on long licks or buy on short licks of one of these guys that got liquidated, which is pretty cool. So you can see how this is all starting to connect together, right? You've got your positions tab. It will show your position if you are in position. If you're not in position, there's nothing really there. You got your actions tab where you can enter sometimes, but sometimes it will block you. And let's see here. Let's see if I can try to get that going. Say add to short. Okay. Verify and enter. It's not going to block me, unfortunately. I could add to this short. Let's see what happens if I try to close 10%. Okay, so you'll get warnings like this. Now, this is a nice warning. It says this is a closed warning. Hey, you're in a 2-hour range. So it goes and it looks at the data for the last 2 hours, something we should do, but as hand traders, you're kind of just in a panic at all times. You're emotional. I mean, if you're using 40x leverage, you're automatically emotional because it's just an emotional decision, right? Oh, let me get rich real quick. Anyways, these are just this one's just a warning. It's saying, hey, you're in the middle of a zone and you're trying to close. You're closing your short in the middle of a 2-hour price range. Price could still move in your favor. Consider letting winners run or saying they take profit at the bottom of the range. And you can just be like, the button is psychologically big and nice to click. I usually click it, but you could override this one. There's others that are like adding. There are a couple things you'll see throughout this. It'll be like, nah, you can't add. And if you don't like that, that's fine. You don't have to use the app. You can go straight to your exchange and add if you need to. But that's the point. That's the point for me, at least. And I'm just building bumpers around the problems I had as a hand trader, the problems that were so bad, so emotional, I lost so much money with, that forced me to lock in for 4 hours a day to learn how to code. That's how bad I wanted it. That's how bad I wanted it. 4 hours a day. But it's kind of like big-headed of me to think that I can just sit here and show you guys on stream and say, hey, you can go learn how to code and automate your trading too. Maybe you don't have the time. Maybe you don't have the interest to learn how to code. And it is what it is. The data shows me that everybody is using 40x leverage and trading by hand, life savings amounts. Maybe it's working for some people. It doesn't matter if it's working or if it's not. I see people get liquidated all day, every day. I've known of this problem. I was a cohort of this problem a few years back. My solution was to lock in, learn how to code, and automate my trading. But for me to sit here and think that I can just tell you what you should do, who cares what I think you should do? You're going to do whatever you're going to do. You're going to trade with as much leverage as possible. That's fine. Do I think it's the way to go? Of course not. But I'm a data dog. And the data shows me everybody watching you is still using 40x leverage. And you're just talking to the 0.1% that will actually lock in for 4 hours a day and learn how to code and use AI to build bots. You spent 5 years. You've taught them everything you could teach them. Help the other people. So that's what I'm trying to do. Just build an app, and that's this app, Quant app. You can download it, and it puts bumpers around your trading. It helps you take the ideas of other people's trades when they get liquidated. I think liquidations are interesting because that person didn't really want to close that position. So is price right then? I don't know. These are questions you'll have to explore yourself. Again, none of this is financial advice. I can't tell you how to trade, what to trade, none of that.
Everything you wanted, everything. Imagine you were everything you ever wanted to be. And capture that feeling. That's the easiest way to know if it's what you want.
But yeah, that's a quick overview of the actions tab here. You can see I can close 10%, 25%, 50%. I really like this as well. Closing for me is just as hard as opening. I'm just as bad. So it's like humans, we just get emotional. You want to keep your profits. This is pretty much like a stop loss, take profit. I didn't even talk about it because I don't like this feature that much. What happens is if I'm in a winning position, which I am in, I can see here, okay, when did I enter? 92077. If I'm scared and I don't want to give back my profits, then I could theoretically just say 92077. Since I'm in a short, if the price goes over this 92077, then I'll close my whole position. This just doesn't work out very well for me. It's like every time I put this in, it's like, dang, Moon, you should have just sold when you put that in. But it's a nice feature to have. So you can play around with these. You know, right now all I can see is add and close. But if you're not in a position, then you'll be able to see open position, buy or sell. If you have any questions, let me know in the Discord, and I'll just keep iterating and making these short videos to keep you up to speed with any changes, ideas, etc. When you do schedule something, if I were to schedule this right now, it would go to the schedules tab, and this is pretty much all your actions here. They get listed on the schedules tab. You can see I have a buy placed here. I have a sell placed here. These are all based off of liquidations. At 89677, how did I get that random price? It was somebody's liquidation price. Same with this 92405, and then you can see I have the close 100% if the price goes over 92071. So yeah, that's an overview of the actions. If you have questions, please let me know.